Welcome back to another unboxing here on Don'tForgetToTell.com. Today we'll be taking a look at the Mezco Toys Darkseid 112 Collective Action Figure. So Darkseid just came out. He's the first figure in the series, the whole Mezco line, to feature the polystone finish on a lot of his skin. So in order to give him this, I guess, this rock look, something that they could, use in the future with figures like The Thing and so on. They decided to go one step further instead of doing their standard figure and, do something innovative. Kind of like what they did with the Iron Man with the metal. And then also they've been doing the lights inside the figures since, I think, the Armored Batman or so. So that's, every little thing like that they add to this series just sets them apart. And also gives them a different price point. So this sucker does come in at about $180. I have seen them going for cheaper on the sites, the Facebook groups, I'm sorry. You can also still get him on all of the toy sites, including Mezco.com, if you want to get straight from the distributor. So let's just go over Darkseid a little bit. Darkseid was created by Jack Kirby, and his first appearance was in the Forever People #1, but he did make a little cameo appearance in Superman's Pale Jimmy Olsen #134 back in 1970. So about the time that Kirby left Marvel, he headed over to DC and created this new plethora of characters, kind of odd, different world characters than we would see in normal superhero comics. And today, still to today, these characters are very, very popular and have really stood the test of time. So anywhere from Orion here, I got some of my older New Gods figures on display, but Orion, Mr. Miracle, Big Barda, and so on, and of course the Lord Almighty of Apocalypse, Darkseid. So I'm excited to get into this figure, so let's take a look at it and see what it offers first. Okay, Darkseid is boasting 28 points of articulation, so it's right around there. He's not as articulated as usual figures, as you can see from a lot of people's pictures online, but Darkseid isn't really a ballerina or an acrobat, so he doesn't need to be doing crazy, stances and stuff like that. As long as he can stand with his hands behind his back, which I'll admit I did open this figure already to just check for damage. He is very heavy, so I just wanted to, in transport, wanted to make sure he wasn't damaged. So Darkseid also comes up with 1 light-up helmet and 4 magnetically interchangeable faceplates. So this is a little bit different than they have been doing with alternate heads, still offering you a nice, array of different looks for Darkseid, including the Omega Beam, his Omega Ray, or Omega Beam hand, or beams coming out of his face, sorry, and also a battle damage, and a smiling portrait, and a serious portrait. So that's a nice bunch of faces for you to put on your figure. He's about 19 centimeters tall. He has 5 interchangeable hands. He comes with a pair of fists. He has 1 hand that holds the mother box in the left hand, and also a pair of opposing hands. So not too much there, but it does give you that open hand, which, as I've stated in other videos, I love, especially with villains. His costume comes with a metal helmet, a metal chest plate and shoulder armor, vest garment, metal waist belt, metal shoulder harness and cape, which is removable, boots with metal heels, and then 3 accessories, 1 being the mother box, which I already mentioned. It does attach magnetically to his belt, and of course the base and the adjustable display post. So that's, it's great. Darkseid does come in a metal tin, which is a little bit different than the standard releases. He is a standard release. You normally see the metal tins when it comes down to the previous exclusive figures at this point. Most of them have been released in the tin, but Lord Darkseid is a heavy figure, so it takes a little bit more, and I guess they just wanted to give you a nice presentation. So here you have it. The front of the box shows off the Omega symbol that Darkseid is very well known for. Of course, the standard look. I do like these sides. The color scheme with the red and black is very cool. It makes it really pop. Darkseid 112 Collective. And on the back, of course, they show you everything that comes in the box, and of course some photos that Mezco took with the figure. and of course it's battling Superman. So those of you, myself included, that do have the Superman 112 should be having a lot of fun. Not that you can't interchange your usual or your normal Superman figures with it. So let's get into this figure. Opening the tin, of course, our instructions of how not to damage our figure. So pay attention to these. It does teach you a lot about care of your premium figures. Directions here: how to put the batteries into his face, also how to do the cape and everything. Like I said, I already opened this figure to just check for any kind of damage, so I did have a chance to play with it and put the batteries in already. So we'll be able to take a look right at that. So foam, a lot of protection for this figure, which is awesome. And when you actually have a chance, if you do buy this figure and you put it in hand, you'll know why. So here's Darkseid. I'm just joking. This is a nice little foam cutout that goes over the figure. Another way of protecting it from moving around within the package. Great idea. And so Darkseid is packed nicely in here. Not a lot of accessories with this guy, but the main draw of this is the figure itself. So I'm going to bring him right out. I would say he weighs a good 5 pounds, to be honest. I think about 5 pounds. He is huge when he's about 10 inches, 9, 10 inch, I'd say, compared to the 6-inch general, which comes up to about here. So you're looking at a pretty hefty sized figure. Now, I've had him on my shelf without any kind of display base, which has been fine because I think his joints are very tight, which helps with posing and also for stability, which sometimes you have a problem with bigger figures because when you have them at the lower price points, it is tough just because those joints do wear out fast, legs become loose, and then they don't stand up as well. So I think they've done a good job from what I've noticed with tight joints. Of course, you know, the test of time will tell. So, just get into these face plates, and we'll drop a picture into the review. But this one is Darkseid with face damage. This was Darkseid with a little smirk, and my personal favorite, Darkseid with his Omega beams coming right out of his face. This is a cool effect, especially seeing that his face does light up. We have the mother box, or sometimes as they're called, the father box, but that really didn't happen until about the 1990s when that term was coined. And then the Desians of Apocalypse were the ones that had the father boxes versus the New Gods of New Genesis that had the mother boxes. So they kind of did a little differentiation when it came to that. But for all our purposes, Jack Kirby made mother boxes, and this is a mother box, so we got it. Here's the other hands, the gripping hand, and 2 open posing hands. So, very cool. Remove the next layer of foam. It's a nice thick piece of foam which protects the figure from movement. And down below we have an empty battery pack. Of course the batteries are already in there. His cape, which goes nicely over him. Let's see if I can just put this on without doing too much here. So these metal components have been kind of mixed in with of course the fabric or whatever the general look that Mezco gives you with the real type clothing, the real feel clothing. His tunic, including his cape, those are your more cloth, quote-unquote cloth pieces, while the rest of him boasts that the polystone build with the metal components like on his shoulders here that hold the cape together, his belt, and so on, as I mentioned earlier. So just go back and review that. But yeah, it is a cool little accessory there. Just for the different looks, you know, you want to just give Darkseid that look with his cape, just kind of being ominous, or do you want him in full battle pose, you know, take it off and there you go. So you got it. Okay, so the standard, at the bottom here, you got another layer of foam, which is giving you the extra protection and just that buffer zone so you don't break. Darkseid does not break within transport. So the arm, I'm not really sure how I'm going to use this. I don't know if it's really big enough or strong enough. Just maybe a little balance if so, but he, like I said, he does stand up pretty well on the shelf. And then his base, showing off the Omega symbol again. So that's cool. I like that. I do like it when they use these symbols instead of, say, writing their name or anything like that. So yeah, very cool. Gray, blue. And you know, people are a little bit concerned about the coloration on this figure. He did appear a little bit darker in the press photos or the promotional photos or whatever you want to call them. But you know, I think it just depends on your lighting, and it depends on also where your reference of Darkseid is, depending on how he's drawn or animated or whatever. To me, being a big Darkseid fan, this figure is a standout. I own the DC Universe collectibles, DC Universe Classics Darkseid, the Build and Connect figure that from Mattel back in the day. And that's one of my favorite figures, very Kirby-esque, a little bit more than this one. This is definitely Mezco's take on the figure and look, but they deliver a solid classic look to this. A lot of people are complaining that he doesn't look like the New 52 or Rebirth versions, this newer Darkseid that was larger than life. We got a figure of him from DC Collectibles in the Icons line. He was 12 inches compared to the 6-inch scale that it was, which is pretty cool. But you know, the modern Darkseid is great and all, and there's a lot of stories with that. But true at heart, I'm a Kirby fan, and I love the old stories. There goes Orion for the Justice League figures. Were 5 POAs to maybe 7 to 8 POA, but they don't stand very well. So Orion's gone. Darkseid took him out. So speaking of Orion, I'd love to get at least one more new guy to go with this. I would prefer Mr. Miracle. I think he'd make a great 112 collected figure. But until then, I'm happy with my Darkseid here. So cool things. The mother box does have a magnet, so it clicks right onto the back here, and we'll drop a photo in just to make sure that you get a good look at that. So magnets, and like I said, he's not superposable, but you will get a decent range of motion from what's given, and he stands well on his own, which is nice. I haven't really used the base yet, so let's try it out. So just a little bit better than standing on this soft thing here. So this is about the extent of his hands behind his back. You know, his classic look where he's just kind of standing there ominously. But that's that, which is fine. Like I said, no splits, no nothing. So the last feature I do want to kind of feature how the metal faceplates work. So. And the lights. So what you do is take the head off, and you can take the faceplate right off, and inside you see this little these lights, which do light up when you turn it on. The switch is on the bottom of the head, so you do have to remove it on and off. And what you do is you go and you place the next faceplate on it, and all of them have the ability for it to glow through. So you can go and do that, delivering a very cool feature for this figure. Nothing scarier than Darkseid's Omega beams. They killed Batman, or sent him back in time, or whatever they did at that point. But nonetheless, Darkseid is Darkseid. So, you know, if you are a fan, get out there, pick this figure up. The price point is worth it. A lot of people are kind of complaining based on collecting these figures at the 80 to 100 price point range. They say it should have been about the same price as the Hulk. I disagree. The hull costs a little bit more than a standard figure because he is bigger, requires more tooling and whatnot. This figure is a completely different product. We have, you know, like I said, we got the stone skin, and more. Just the lights and all this stuff, all these neat features that Mezco has come up with to add to their figures. This, in my opinion, is exactly where they should be when they're making these great things. This is exactly what I wanted at the price point. This is exactly where it should be at the price point. And I just, you know, sometimes I just think people want something for free these days. So that's unfortunate. But I know that there are people out there enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, and that's all that matters. So, like I said, Mezco's Darkseid is available now. So it's easy to get. Get out there, check it out. Put them on your shelf so you can really enjoy that. So I'll get some pictures. I'll put them into the article. We'll get some little shots throughout the reviews. So you can get some closer looks. And, you know, we're almost at Toy Fair. We're pretty excited. Casey's going this year, so look forward to our coverage on don'tforgettothello.com. Also, check out our unboxings at the website. Also, we have a YouTube channel that where everything's hosted for our videos. So you can follow us there, subscribe, like, all that great stuff. So yeah, this is Chris, and I'm giving Darkseid a 5 out of 5. I love this figure. I love the character, and this is now my ultimate figure for Darkseid. That's it, guys. So check us out at don'tforgettothello.com, social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'll see you next time.